and we are happy that today we are having two very good lectures, one from Dr. C.D. Mai and second one will be from Dr. Dilip Kumar Ghosh. And in the first lecture, so we'll be and I don't like to take much time here, so we should be very much satisfied that Dr. C.D. Mai sir has agreed to deliver his talk today in our webinar series. We know I don't like to go for his introduction, so this will be dealt by our General President, Dr. Gare. But I know and we know as a plant pathologist, so Dr. C.D. Mai, he is stalwart, he is a very strong pillar in our plant pathology of India. Not only India, so he is renowned in the world also in the field of crop protection. So with these few words, I will hand over this mic to Zonal President Dr. R.N. Gare to introduce about the speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Gogoi, and good morning to all IPS Executive Council and all the attendees. I am really very honored to have an introduction of my very esteemed Guruji, who is in fact does not need any introduction, but the protocol demands Dr. C.D. Mai sir, who is an epitome of the knowledge, and he himself is an University of Plant Pathology and Biotechnology in particular. Introducing Dr. C.D. Mai in words and in time, it is not actually sufficient. To herald his expertise, whatever the contribution to the Society of Agriculture and Plant Pathology, we cannot just accumulate in the words and the time. So I will try at the best to just focus on his major achievements. So Dr. C.D. Mai sir did his PhD from a very esteemed institute, IARI New Delhi, and afterwards he did his postdoc. He has got a fellowship from Germany, and afterwards he got a DSc honoris causa from three different agricultural universities, specifically Rajendra Agriculture University, Pusa, Bihar, Orissa Agriculture University, Bhubaneswar, and also Assam Agriculture University, Zorat. He has also got very much opportunities and the contributions and different positions. Specifically, he was a Vice Chancellor of VNMKV Parbhani, afterwards Director CICR Nagpur, and then he has an opportunity to work for some time as a Commissioner of Agriculture, Government of India, New Delhi, and the longest tenure as a chairman in ASRB, whatever the earlier chairmans have. And presently, he is a chairman of South Asia Biotechnology Center, New Delhi, also a president of Cotton Improvement Society, and many more positions he have. So we will not narrate much more. He is also a recipient of many more awards, but I will focus on important awards he had. The most prestigious academic award in the student life, he has got M.G. Narasimham Academic Award of IPS, New Delhi. Then Alexander von Humboldt Fellow of Germany, Munkur Memorial Lecture IPS New Delhi, and Prasad Memorial Lecture ISMPP, then prestigious Pesticide Award of again ISMPP, V.P. Gokhale Award of Agarkar Institute Pune, then Outstanding Team Research Award by ICR New Delhi, Dr. B. Vishwanatha Award by IRI New Delhi, and Lifetime Achievement by IPS again
You are
New
able
Delhi.
to hear?
And the most important thing is Leadership Award for bringing ASRB at forefront. This was the innovative ideas what he had, the online examination of ASRB, what we have seen here. It is only because of Dr. C.D. Mai who has changed all the scenario of ASRB. That was the major contribution of his his contribution to ASRB. He has so many recognition. I will focus only short. President of IPS, ISMPP, and many more societies he had. He had a contribution of many more research articles, near about 200 research articles he had, and also 6 important books. And you may be knowing all over the world, the book which has been read by the plant pathologists, and the plant pathology discipline cannot have a degree with this particular book if he has not read, is a phytopathometry, which is very important book. Everyone has read it. Also, so many monographs and articles and all these things, I cannot narrate much more. And he has so many countries visit as an advisor, as a panelist and all. Majorly, you can say USA and then UK and Argentina and Egypt, Iran and then Philippines and Canada and China and Pakistan and South Africa and many more. So you can have, you can see that this type of a esteemed personality we have, and the budding scientist and other scientists and the student we have an opportunity to interact with him. With these few words, I just I just request Dr. C.D. Mai sir, who is my Guruji, to have his lucid lecture. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gade. I think you are able to hear me, all of you. Any difficulty? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Audio.
yeah. So, first of all, let me thank IPS, who has done a very wonderful job. I think the Secretary Gogai needs a lot of compliments for this, and Dr. Chakravarti, who has done in all these, what we call it as the pandemic situation, where we are all locked down and we are not able to meet each other. I think an opportunity has been given to almost all zones to really have good presentations of the lecture so that others they can benefit. I find that there are almost 134 people who have joined to this particular lecture, and after my lecture, I think Ghosh also is going to speak. I will start, I think, my lecture with sharing my slides with you, and you will find that this, yeah, I am going to talk today on what we call it as uh, this one, this one. I will be talking about today on the disruptive technologies in agriculture that impact crop research and development. Why I chose this subject? Because I find that now, if you see the entire management system of diseases, it has undergone a lot of changes. When we talk about what we call it as a quarantine, sanitation, chemical control, host resistance, now the entire thing is getting changed into what we call it as host resistance through different mechanisms. I think therefore this particular topic I thought is very important for the young students who can really learn out of this and can plan in their future day. So what is actually disruptive technology? Disruptive technology is whatever innovations basically lead to any new technology, and that displaces an established technology and shakes up the industry or a groundbreaking product that creates completely a new industry. This was the definition given by Clayton. Now, if you see agriculture, it has historically depended on what we call it as a disruptive technologies and innovation to make big strides. Let us say Mendel's law made a tremendous change, hybrid seed made a change, mechanization made a change, fertilization made a change, and modern crop varieties, even synthetic pesticides, which we are talking about, or even biotechnology and precision farming. Now, if you see that these are all what we call it as disruptive technologies which have really come. Now, the first wave of disruptive technology is green revolution technology, which has improved. What was the target there? The target was seed, where we introduced a lot of good genes there, RH1, RH2 in case of wheat, and also the dwarf genes in case of rice. It was fertilizer responsive, pesticide responsive, irrigation responsive, and also ultimately they could do a lot of mechanization. This is what I call it as the first wave of innovations. That was around 1960. Now that wave went up to 1988, 90. And the second wave came then of biotechnology. Now in biotechnology, I think the first product probably you know, which was tomato GM, was released in 1996. And then subsequently, it started working heavily. Today, I'll be talking about what are those issues which we have already come. Third wave now is likely started already, but it can be 2010 or it can be 2015 or to 2020. But now if you see the COVID situation, I think digital or biological integrated technology has become more important. I am reaching you today mainly because of the fact that I am able to really now contact with our digital mechanism. We are now far apart from each other, but we are able to meet each other. This is what I call it a third wave, and which has the biological integrated technology. Now the digital revolution, or what we call industrial revolution, there is a biotech revolution, knowledge intensive agriculture. These are all the things which we will find. But now what will be the fourth step? I understand there are attempts going on. Can we produce food without agriculture? This is something which is unimaginable, but this could also be possible. Friends, there are four innovations that brought about the change in agriculture in the last century, 20th century. Number one, mechanization. Nearly tractors freed up almost 25% of extra land to our human food instead of fodder for drought of horses and oxen and all that. Now, if this land, today again, if you see Punjab, mechanization is to the tune of almost 95%. Fertilizer. Fritz Haber, actually 1930 invention of synthesizing ammonia transformed agriculture productivity. Then pesticide. The hydrocarbons enable farmers grow high density crops and reduce the losses because of several pests. Then genetics. Now in the 1960s, dwarf weeds rapidly replaced the tall Asian subcontinent's hunger and surplus of green revolution. Today we are nearly, I think our godowns are full. You talk about wheat, 108 million tons. Rice, we have 116 million tons. Vegetable and these things you can see every sector. So what are the innovations which will change agriculture in this century is very important. This is what I call it as a continuum. Green revolution, then came hybridization, then came biotechnology, and then now in biotechnology, we have new breeding technologies like CRISPR, we have gene drive technologies. It will be endless. You see, you can't stop that. And that is what I say is the continuum going on. Now, transforming Indian agriculture is basic started in 70s. When we were all waiting for PL480 wheat and rice, actually green revolution turned around. And what is the contribution of pathologists then? Very important contribution. Those epidemics of rust were totally stopped. How come? It is development of host resistance in those dwarf lines. I think that is what I feel is very important. Self-driven revolution, fruits and vegetables, flowers, allied milk, fish, improved communication, transport, globalization, all these things is transforming agriculture. I have just given a brief gist about the food production, what is now today, what was earlier. You see the current production of rice 116 million tons, wheat 105 million tons, fruits and vegetables total they are crossing 308 million tons. So something that we are now, if you see the total agriculture GDP which accounts where actually it comes to almost 37% more in horticulture contribute, 30% comes livestock, and rest of the livestock 27% and fisheries 5%. So horticulture dairy account for nearly close to 60% of the GDP. So we have developed in India, once a nation before 1960, which was begging for food. Today, we have a robust production system, except probably we are not able to meet our requirements in vegetable oils, which we are already now concentrating. That can we do it with the help of our biotechnology is possible. Friends, innovation basically is a response to emergent challenges. Why does emergence? Why do we get those innovations? It is the requirement. If I go to the field and if I find that there is a demand that I must control the disease, I think I start innovation. So demand, supply, labor, capital, natural resources, all these things are the emerging challenges which are posed, and that's how. Suppose tomorrow there is a changing diet pattern, then that also can be a sort of we feel that we need wheat with zinc. Can we create wheat with additional zinc or biofortification, or can we do it through biotechnology? So all these things, we do not want land to be degraded. So we develop new kinds of technology. So what I say is innovation is basically responses which are given by our circumstances. Now, what are the disruptive technologies that are impacting our research and development? Particularly, I am in concerning with now plant protection methods. Most important is micropropagation. Second is transgenic. Third is marker aided assisted breeding, high density planting. Now these are what we call it as the new responses which are coming. And therefore, these technologies, let us look into hybrid alone. Now you know the single cross hybrids which has crossed. How is the yield of you take, for example, corn, how it has grown so fast? It is because of the development of heterologous breeding. And heterologous breeding, where we started with open pollinated initially, then with double cross hybrids, but then we realized that single cross hybrids can do wonders. And simultaneously, what pathologists have done is we do not want the corn blight to come again. They have incorporated simultaneously the resistance to these things. Same thing is vegetable production. We have worked so extensively with vegetable production that today we are not only self-sufficient, but we are able to export these materials. Now you take, I am give example of the what our is Citrus Institute where I am sitting today and which Dr. Ghosh will be talking about. Now there is development of virus-free citrus plant, shoot tip grafting technology which has become very popular. And this has been done. I think I will not talk about it because Ghosh can even cover this. But this is where now people are concentrating on planting material which is virus. I would give you now come down to biotechnology, which is, I would say, the 21st century, the major after 1996. The major interruption or disruptive technology that has come is genetic engineering. And in genetic engineering, which provides exclusive solutions for viral diseases, because we don't have any viricides much. We were all depending on only some kind of a crop management strategy, and we were just looking into how to control viruses. It's a big issue. Like what I think Mr. Ghosh, Dr. Ghosh will be talking about, how to make citrus plant virus free, how to make potato seedling virus free, how to have all those plantations which are virus free. That technology. And now this is what we call it as biotechnological approach for field crops. Let us take tomato or brinjal, papaya or anything. Cryptic insects, lepidopteran insects. There is no other alternative but use salinity, drought, climate change, quality improvement. All this is possible now today by using our biotechnology. I'll just quote one example because this is a very important example for all of you. The yield of cotton, where I am lot of because my major energies after my years of plant pathology went in management of cotton problems, not only diseases but insect pest, cotton production technology, and I have been associated with cotton even now. The yield of cotton was stagnant for 15 years, 89 to nearly 2003. How much was? 300 kg per hectare. We were the lowest in the world. We have the highest area of cotton in the world. Now the barrier of stagnation, we were even spraying pyrethroids, which has created problems, which has created resistance to bollworm. People were making suicides in Andhra Pradesh. All this is now a problem where we removed the barrier of stagnation by adopting what is called as a BT technology in 2002. Although BT technology was available right in United States and other countries earlier 6 to 8 years, but we accepted it in 2000, and this is the first and probably for the last 20 years the last crop biotic, and it changed the entire Indian scenario. You can see yourself. I have not even quoted the area. See, the production doubled. We have reduced the what we call it as the insecticide spray by nearly 50%. We have exported cotton to the tune of nearly 60 to 90 lakh bales, depending on what is there. And we were almost number one in cotton production in the world. See, simple change of control management of bollworm through BT cotton, what transformation it can make. It has made yield transformation almost double. You can see 2001 and now 2010-11 onward, how it has just progressed. And the global area of different crop productions, you can see how biotechnology has taken up in US, Brazil, Argentina. There are nearly 29 countries which are adopting it. And nearly 3% every year, there is an area which is being increased. Now, there are diverse offerings. Let us say, what are their offerings in consumer in society? Now, in Canada, they have developed what we call it as innate potatoes, where you can, the potatoes will not become brown. There is an Arctic apple in USA, which will, even after cutting, it will not become brown. Otherwise, if you keep for some time, it will be. Canada, there is Aqua Bounty salmon, which is now again GM. Costa Rica, we have a pink pineapple. So Bangladesh eggplant, which is our technology, but adopted in Bangladesh. Today it is more than 5,000 hectares. This was in the old estimate. And we have also low lignin alfalfa, which is very easy for a digestible. So you can see what are the new diverse offerings we can. These are a host of them. You can say brinjal, corn, soybean, canola, potato, and we are now talking about soybean. Can we bring, because the farmers in this country are suffering because of weed management, can we have HT soybean? People are illegally growing HTBT because they are not able to control weeds, and weeds are causing heavy losses. So, and they are also the carriers of several viruses and several diseases. And now mechanical weeding has become really very difficult and very costly. So people want, can we have technology like GM canola, GM mustard, GM soya? Can we reduce our dependence on these things? Can we have technology like glyphosate-free cotton, where we did not treat it and we can eat that oil also? So you can see in vegetables, apples, zucchini, squash, lot of research has gone into all these things. Now, disruptive innovations, the new breeding technologies which have been adapted, what is from new biology? Like what? Gene editing technologies, CRISPR, TALEN, zinc finger nucleases. It has the capability to edit native crop genes, important traits, generating non-transgenic plants. Now, there is a dialogue going on whether these CRISPR technologies we need to do under regulation. Genome-edited crops being improved include soybean, maize, wheat, rice, potato, tomato, peanuts. So, technology is not only fully utilized, but with high potential impact for production in Asia can be very useful in our future programs. Now, what is the new breeding technologies which we can, as a pathologist, we can extend these new technologies for management of our diseases which are otherwise very difficult. And otherwise we can reduce our dependence on chemical control. That is what because they have an ability to edit native genes, coding for important traits, and some of those traits like disease resistance can be very useful. It has a precision, it has a regulation, it has a speed, the cost is much, this is faster speed, genome edited crops are being improved, include so many of them. My point is that now pathologist has to learn. It is in the border case. Your entire technologies, if you want to talk about management, I think some basic research has to be gone, and then they can, this basic research can be more useful. Then pathologists can develop research areas around them. There are innumerable problems. Like I was told, your banana T4 race, it is now being introduced in the country. There are several things which are getting what we call alien species in this country. Dr. Chakravarti, I think a few years back, I remember, delivered a very beautiful lecture. What are those pests and diseases that we are entering in this country? And I was, you probably, as a pathologist, you should really know them, because fall armyworm, even my own society has worked extensively how to manage fall armyworm. We were not knowing fall armyworm. We were not knowing T4 race of banana, which has really destroyed. So there could be large number of things which are alien and which may be troublesome to all of us. So my point is that since this new breeding technology is really capable of editing native crop genes and coding for important traits and generating basically non-transgenic plants. And now this non-transgenic plant concept is yet to be elaborated. Whether the regulator will accept, in some countries they see that yes, there is absolutely no necessity to regulate because we are not changing the structure. But since it is a more precision, so the breeding technologies ultimately are giving paving way to all of us. What are the quality traits that one can really use them? Like I said, increase vitamin A content in golden rice. You know about golden banana. Excellent work has been done. Increased omega-3 content. It is linked to heart health and brain functions. Reduced acrylamide content, innate tomatoes, innate potatoes. So acrylamide is associated with increase of risk of certain cancer disease, which can be reduced. Increased oleic acid, many health benefits can be obtained out of this. Multiple violinic acid safflowers can be developed, which are anti-inflammatory. Non-browning apples already developed. So like potato, browning potatoes, non-browning apples also have been developed in future. So the biometric products developed through breeding techniques recently are non-browning mushrooms. Knock out these PPO genes in the market, and now there will be non-browning. We have a serious problem with our degree mushroom, that is pleurotus. And now this pleurotus can be really, because if you keep pleurotus for a longer time, they become brown. Can we think of these things? Altered starch composition in maize can be improved. High oil content, oil can be done. And reduced lignin content, which I already said you, reduced black spot in knockout genes. So this new breeding technologies, even northern blight resistance, which has been possible now with allele development, is actually possible here, and that has been done. So my point is now, all by pathology, younger generation people, they must learn that what are the new possibilities which are possible to really management of the disease. And research has to focus. If we have to have changed our R&D concept, I think it is very important that we should really go in for this. Now biotech crops and traits in the pipeline, if you see, there are large number of them. I would not go into this beta carotene enriched already developed technology. There is a resistance going on, but still it is not accepted. Fusarium wilt and Sigatoka, bunchy top, carotene enriched, R and beta carotene enriched. Banana has been possible, which is Fusarium resistant. Our own people in India have done quite a good amount of work. Insect resistance in case of soybean and in case of some of those these pulses, delayed ripening, less gluten content now in many crops, like particularly wheat, which has become. So we are now concentrating even on quality trade. So by only introducing not only resistance, one can go in for what we call it as the quality sources also. Now the issue comes, and I would like to bring this as our because I am very much concerned. I have been one of the proponents of what we say that such technologies we must permit in our country. And I know that there is a lot of oppositions going on. Now, those oppositions, what are those issues actually we need to really tackle them? We have to convince them. And we, because of that, we are stuck up. And there are lots of cases going on in court. Why should a scientific matter really be have debates and caveats in the court? But unfortunately, like RR Flex cotton, which I am sure 15% of the cotton in Maharashtra and Telangana and part of Gujarat today is illegal cotton. Illegal, what they call it as unapproved HT cotton. Now the government is telling that we should arrest them, but the farmer said that no, you can't do it. High Court has stopped them. So this is what it was. So why not even going? I also am not supporting that they should really go in for such kind of unapproved material. We want approved material. That is what is actually our technology should be. So that the farmers get the correct type of material. BT brinjal, I think if at all we talk about safety, it is now more than 8 years in Bangladesh where it has not produced or created any problem. Rather, it is increasing every year because where they are able to get best. And what is the in same Bengal and Bihar and Odisha, nearly 50 to 72 sprays are given for control of the shoot and stem borer, just shoot and fruit borer. I think if this kind of thing is going on, why not think of some alternative? Because we are already spoiling environment. So BT brinjal, we have lead blight resistance potato. Lead blight is our Phytophthora infestus, is our bread and butter for many pathologists. Because our science actually grew with lead blight. Today we have come to lead blight management through what we call it as gene technology. Mustard hybrids, protein quality potato, golden rice, pod borer resistance chickpea, then nitrogen utilization or nitrogen utility traits in rice. One can save a lot of nitrogen by using the traits there. High iron rice and salt tolerance rice. This is only a brief list. Let me tell you that in India, our scientists have a lot of competence. They have developed it. And only thing is they are today, so they have become more pessimistic, mainly because of the fact that if the technology is not going to farmer, then naturally the uh, the scientific community gets worried about it. This I will just show you a few slides, which many of them I think fairly well known. Fruit and shoot borer resistance is actually originally developed by Maharashtra Hybrid Seed Company. Then it is also done by NRC Biotechnology with a different event. Even IIVR, our own ICR institute, has already done it, and they already being promoted. Now there are even talks of going on for NRC plant biotechnology material, which is now being tested in the field. So lead blight resistant, you can see it already experimental evidence clearly shows that the plants which have died of Kupri Jyoti and the ones which are survived, they are all transgenic. Now, protein quality potato, a classical work which has been done in Delhi is the balanced amino acid composition because potato has more starch. So you can have more protein quality also along with the starch, so it can become more what we call it as a food. Indian mustard brassica, Dr. Pentel's work, Delhi University South Campus, and he has they worked for nearly 18 years to develop male sterility restorer system, and which is now one of the ready technologies, still awaiting the approval from the regulator. Now we know about nutritional rules. Nearly 25 lakh people and 50 lakh people, they have vitamin A deficiencies, children. They become blind everywhere. Half of them die within a year. The tragedy can be really eliminated. The one who has developed the golden rice was practically weeping when he said that technology can save a lot of people who are blind, a lot of these pregnant women who can be helped by eating golden rice. And the same golden rice which the Philippines Institute has already given it to Indian varieties also we have already grown. We have already developed. But we are not permitted. Has been done by Ingo Portricus. There was a beautiful article which has come in Time that this ride could save millions of kids every year. But and what is that? It is 8 to 25 microgram rice produced by breeding and ready for field testing. Lines with 60. This is Indian work, iron rich rice technology. And banana, our own Chandigarh Institute has also done what we call it as a super banana, where golden bananas can be iron rich and they can also save, because in Africa, banana is a staple food and they can be useful. So friends, we know that the technology is useful. It can be very useful for our pathology friends. And but as I said, there is a confusion, and I would say that GM infusion challenges. I always call that GM. Political and politics is another challenge. Social and ethical is another challenge. Financial and funding agencies is a challenge, because now people don't want to give funding for doing research in this. But still there are our institutions, government of India is supporting, and therefore we should be able to really do it. Regulatory and legal challenges, research and technology development challenges, consumer and farmer debate challenge, biotechnology industry and IPR issues also is becoming a challenge. Now, the current challenges of Indian agriculture, I would just like, because it is in this context now, what research pathologist has to do. We are one of the, I think, largest country where smallholder farmers are there in this country. Nearly 82% of our farmers are small scale farmers. I think after China is our number. Then there are so many other countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, Pakistan, almost all of them in the Asiatic country. Now, this small holding, how small holding? You can see our marginal farmer with less than 1 hectare, 74%. Small farmers 1 to 2, 70. If you make this total, they become almost 87%. But large farmers are only 0.9. So whatever technologies we have to develop is basically developed for the, and our food requirement as estimated by ICAR and Planning Commission is going, our population is going to be another bomb, is 1.70 billion by 2050. And then our requirement of food will be nearly more than 330 billion tons. Yield plateau has already reached in many crops. So we have to think of new technologies to adopt, new management. Can we save? Nearly, we can say 50 to 60 million tons of food can be saved only by pest, disease and weed management. And this is, the food demand is also diversified. We have to now see that people want also quality. For example, the urbanization is increasing. Now with COVID, Possibly people felt that people will go migrate to villages, but again there is a reverse migration which is going on, and our calorie requirement will also go. So these changes, I always look into that. When you start research, think what is the background that you are working for. India, what are our needs? What is our requirement? What are the changing scenarios? So we can't remain only confined to pathology alone. But if at all we have to go deep in pathology, naturally you must also have a broader outlook of what Indian agriculture. Now, for example, there are some very classical need to grow more food with less land and less water per person. Need more protein food, need more nutritious food, and this is what is already FAO has already pointed out. World population will grow, arable land will decrease, farmland per person will also decrease substantially, as I have already shown you from this figure. Friends, growing, this is all impacting the food import. Although we don't talk much, but nearly 75 million crore rupees are spent on import of what we call it as edible oil. We are also importing cashew nuts, these almonds. We are also 30,000 crore worth fruits we are importing in spite of the fact. And our import is, if we see our trade balance, our import is more than what we are exporting. Friends, when our honorable Prime Minister says that you have to be Atmanirbhar, I think there is going to be a big gap. And for making or make in India, make Atmanirbharta, all this will depend how best can our each region become Atmanirbhar first? And then India will become Atmanirbhar alone, automatically. So these are some of those questions which we are lacking. So what are the implications of all this? More of export, more of import, food shortages, climate change, shortage, the land degradation, then land division, changes in the population increase, then changes in demography with shift towards urbanization, and higher income will lead to changes in dietary composition with increased consumption of meat, dairy product, egg, fish product having higher water and carbon footprint. This is all changing now. Now with lot of, see, people are becoming more on vegetarianism. Now with this COVID pandemic, we have seen that our export of masala has gone up. A lot of people in US are asking for turmeric. They are asking for ginger. They are asking for black pepper. See, the entire scenario is getting changed. So, is it not alarming? Yes. Will the present practices be enough to meet the challenges? No. Is it not inevitable to get preparedness, produce more from less? Yes. Can new technologies like biotech able to meet the expectation? Yes, at least partly they will be able to meet. Each agriculture revolution is backed by technology. Remember, I have shown you in the very few first slides that green revolution till biotechnology today is all backed by what we call it as technology. You take green revolution, you may take milk revolution, you may take even the golden revolution. It is all backed by technology, whether it is heterosis breeding, whether it is addition of genes through traditional breeding or through biotechnology. Thus, the country needs adoption and infusion of biotech crops. GM technologies, including newer ones like gene editing, has to be permitted at trial. Now, future innovations are leading to technologies. I will just briefly go through them because now this is what I see that after 2025, agriculture is the least digitized industry. But this pandemic has changed it now. The knowledge intensive agriculture will appear and more of digitization. For example, decision support system for agrotechnology, for disease management will become part of your entire system. You will have to even diagnose, for example, automated disease detection cutting edge technologies will be available in India. It has already been done by Crisat in some of the crops. But this can be now a routine feature that you need not go to the field, but diagnose it when it comes. Already people are doing it through WhatsApp. But now this technology can be. Smart drones will take flight for precision agriculture because I think drone technology is already now, we have done it through for locust control. And we'll have to see that our pesticides, our management of disease and pests, how they can be done by drone technology to be safer. And this is what the estimate has got from the global agriculture drone market. The market is increasing very fast. And therefore, there is a lot of scope now in the methods of applications of pesticide and their research. So we have a new area. Sensors is another area where the soil people, soil scientists are already working with the intelligent sensors, global infrared market size forecast centers also right. So these are all new technologies which are likely to come. Very interestingly, I have also seen this Toshiba farm. One slide I got vertical farming. Now there will be, as I said, that can the future agriculture will be only landless? Can we have food without soil? Is another very big area which is now a concern. And already vertical farming examples are going on. If you go to Singapore, there are already, I have seen that lot of vegetables are being grown there. Now these have new problems. As you go to the polyhouse technology, you have new disease problems which you have to manage. How do we do that? So these are all the things which possibly will come. So in the end, friends, I just wanted to say that my young people who are now taking up pathology as their subject, and I find the large number of them are still. It is a very new, total new technology. We need to have even new textbooks now. We don't need to just see our old Stackman and Harar and Waxman and all those. We have to devise now as per our new technologies. What I would always say that pathology student first has to have learning of plant disease control, then go to basics, how the infection process starts. I think these are some of those ideas which I thought. The new map of the world, according to Jeffrey Sachs, is today's world is divided not by ideology, but by technology. This demands a bold new thinking and development. A small part of the globe, accounting for some 15% of Earth's population, provides nearly world's technology innovation. A second part, involving perhaps half of the world's population, is able to adopt these technologies in production and consumption. The remaining part, covering around a third of the world's population, is technology disconnected. This is, I think, many areas in India, neither innovating at home nor adopting foreign technology. This is a very serious matter. That's why I say the world is divided not by ideology today, but it is divided, according to Sachs, by technology. So friends, last slide, we have oceans of data. Knowledge is the king, but rivers of information must flow small puddles of knowledge into drop of wisdom. This is what we say. The industrial revolution, information communication technology, miniaturization, mobile devices, the internet things. Data does not equal information. We have enough data. You talk about forecasting of plant diseases and insect pests in India. I think you dig out the data which is generated. But have we really put the data to use to forecast a disease with that precision? Not equal. Information does not equal knowledge. Data does not equal information. And most importantly, knowledge does not equal wisdom. So you have to have that chain, and that's how it will appear. I think by thanks to all the people, particularly IPS, I find that Pranjeev has also joined, and I think now I have to learn a lot of things from Punjab. Namaste. So, with friends, if there are any few questions on this, we have some time, 10 minutes. I am ready to give. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you very much. It is very nice talk. We are encouraged after hearing and viewing your talk. So, dear viewers, all of you have seen, Sir has sent us many messages from his talk.
Okay.
Just I want to pick up only one message.
Okay.
Many messages. That is, he is suggesting to learn first disease management, then to go for the basic studies. Anyway, so this is one of the very catchy messages I received. And here is the question and answer session. So far, 6 questions we have seen. Sir, can you operate from your side for question answering? And after this question answer, I will be requesting our President, Dr. P.K. Chakraborty sir, to give his remarks before going to the vote of thanks. First, the question and answer session.
Yes. What is the question?
Sir, can you open at the bottom? Can you see Q&A? You can open. You can read yourself. Can you?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
There are 8 questions.
Yes.
What are the major problems regarding commercialization of BT brinjal in India? There are no problems in commercialization. There is a lot of opposition to entire GM technology itself. And we are trying to slowly remove that from the mind of the people, so that whatever their issues are there, they call it a toxic problems, food problems. But I think over a period, it will be all going, because now with experience of Bangladesh, it will start. The second question is Mr. Mukesh Kumar.
Sir, I will add a point to what you said. I will give my remark later on. Sir, I am sorry to interrupt you. It is very heartening to know that recently, even in Bengal, there has been a group which has raised this issue about commercialization of BT brinjal, because they are seeing that the neighboring must have been prompted either with your kind of your feelings on that. There is a policy paralysis which is there in our country. And definitely, other countries are taking a cue and from our, and as you have rightly said, that there is no hurdle associated with BT brinjal. Everything has been tested, and the neighboring country is enjoying like anything. That's why, sir, Bengal is prompted to, a group has recently discussed and deliberated on the issue that Bengal is, at least Bengal government, if not the India government, the total country should accept that and go for its commercialization. Thank you, sir. Sorry for interruption.
No problem. Actually, many people think that the pink bollworm problem has increased in cotton, and there are suicide. Suicide has been a common phenomenon in cotton in the region, but it is not everywhere. That is another way. So pink bollworm has not come in Punjab. Why? Here there is a tendency of keeping the cotton for a longer time. They just have about 5 to peaking. And we have been making a campaign for last 2 years through SABC and Agrovision Foundation. And we are successfully shown that it can be managed very well. There is nothing wrong. Only thing is we have to take care. People were not following refugia. They were not doing any other thing. And they felt that everything is possible only with BT. No, we have to have proper management. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir, second
Very
question.
informative talk. So what about
Dr. Mukesh Kumar question.
any more question?
Dr. Mukesh Kumar, then the Sinha. 2 more questions are there.
There is one more question on what is the solution for pig bollworm. Sorry. There is the solution of pig bollworm is only making awareness of the people how to really manage it. And we have done it. We have already shown it in the field. Our GM crops. Oh.
So there are few other questions.
Yeah. Thank you for great shall, but I don't find any question.
Scroll down actually. So scroll it up. Scroll it up, you will find that the questions are there. Otherwise, shall I read?
Sir, about suicide. Yeah, I think these are all repeated. Are GM crops food for consumption? Absolutely no problem. We are even eating the cotton seed oil now for a long time. What are the, sir, what about suicide farmers after introduction of BT? I think there is a wrong concept. Suicides were otherwise going on, and BT cotton, there is no problem. People are actually getting confused. There are hundreds of reports now that there is no linkage between them. Are GM and the gene-edited crop farmer friendly? If they would not be farmer friendly, they would not have been grown. This is what is we say that the best way is to have those gene-edited crops where we don't need even the regulation technology. So these are all the questions which I think I have. So thank you very much for. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So now I request our president, Dr. P.K. Chakraborty, sir, for his brief remark.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Gogoi. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And I don't have any hesitation to say that without you, plant protection in the country is incomplete today. A man who is a single person, one-stop need for all the requirements, right from research to policy to administration. I wish person and people like you should not retire from active services like that, because after today, biggest thing is, which we are facing is we have lots of technology, as you rightly said, and then we have, but the implementation policy paralysis is one of the major hurdles which are keeping us from our dream plant protection. So today, as we say, the crop biosecurity is a paramount to food security, and 20 to 30% of the crops which farmers are tilling and spending its energy and spending it all the resources of natural and other resources, we are losing to crop pest, partly because of our policies. I should not say partly, but a lot of it. And if we calculate the amount which I did as a ADG, I found it was now 1,90,000 crores, which is equivalent to India's defense budget for a year, sir. This is the amount of losses which we are incurring, and if we can save that, as you have rightly pointed, that 65 million metric tons of food grains and 70 million metric tons of horticultural crops we can save today. And so, friends, we are very lucky that we had Dr. C.D. Mai for our lecture series today, and it was a frank and very eye-opening lecture for all the plant protection. Because today, lots of every lab will have a diagnostic tool, but are we able to employ? We have nanotechnology, nanopesticides, robots. Everything has one or the other limitations. We have certain herbicides which are there, but its application PCO. Farmers cannot have a reach on PCOs, and all these aspects are being taken care and being spoken about by Dr. C.D. Mai very aptly. And just a few days back, 3 days on 24th of this month, he gave a brilliant talk on the ban of pesticides and the lacunae in the pesticide management bill. And none other than Dr. Mai can boldly comment and advocate on such technologies and in our plant protection sector, which badly needs our policy. Entire country knows him for his great administrative ability, besides being a great scientist. And I am in fact lucky that right from my ARS selection till my selection in ADG, fortunately, and incidentally he had been there, knowingly or unknowingly he had been there. And then he has made the careers of all these people. I can see on my Basule. Basule was in CICR, Dr. Gade, and all others. All of you know him, and that's why we chose, sir, a very right speaker for today's series of lecture, which we are celebrating to celebrate the International Year of Plant Health. Sir, another big problem is we do not have any concrete or robust policy for control of invasive pests. For last 5 years, 6 years, I have been ADG. I was very astonished to see that every year we had one or the other invasive pest. And all these, right from starting from 2014, South American bollworm, then wheat blast came, then spiraling whitefly came, then tropical race for of Panama wilt came, then fall armyworm, and latest is locust. And all of these pests, unlike in case of Australia and New Zealand, which boast that they do not let more than 5% of their crop getting lost to 5%, we are kind of sometimes impervious to hear. We will just see, yes, locust has come, we will forget that it is not my work or not. And policies are made, but they are not implemented correctly, sir. Right from BT crops to introduction of the pesticide molecules for use through drones, use of drones. Mostly drones application can be allowed during night also, when these locusts they sit on the crop. Policy effective implementation needs a great look. Deployment of ICT based monitoring and forecasting in several areas. You have said you have left no areas, and I wish all the young plant pathologists and plant protection scientists overall. There are about 200 people who are attending this, and they know these technologies, but they have to see, as Gogoi has pointed initially, that we need to know the implementation and keep on making GM crop. Definitely government will have to accept, because that is the need of the country. I feel like Dr. C.D. Mai, I learned from him that whatever is there in your mind, do not hide it, you tell it, but we have to implement in a proper manner. And e-noses in diagnosis. I have seen a series of lectures are there on diagnosis, but are we implementing them? Diagnosis have to be implemented to know the pathogens at a source, like when they are present as a soil-borne disease. We do not draw a link with the use of molecular diagnostics. We have a PCR technology, but nobody now bothers about. We need a e-nose type of identification and diagnosis, where volatile organic compounds which are released with the attack of each pest and pathogen on each host, they are host specific. Such kind of e-noses based detection needs to be done. And friends, this is what I wanted to say this morning. And we have lecture. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for advising, guiding our young generation. And thank you to have given your valuable time to us. Thank you so much. Doctor, over to Dr. Gogoi.
Sir, thank you very much for your brief remarks. Here, Dr. Mai sir has delivered a very nice talk. So, but even on behalf of IPS, Indian Phytopathological Society, we are still feeling dearth of words to appreciate him. So, despite of that, definitely we'll be sending a certificate of appreciation, which may not be actually that much of honor to him. Anyway, we are very much thankful, dear viewers. Now I'll hand over this mic to our General Councillor, Dr. Wasule, for putting a formal vote of thanks.
I say my sincere thanks to Dr. C.D. Mai sir, ex-chairman ASRB, ex-director CICR, and ex-vice chancellor.
Dr. Wasule, your voice is here. Your voice is just you come closer to the mic.
Hello. Hello. I am also thankful to the President IPS, Dr. P.K. Chakraborty sir. I am also thankful to Dr. Robin Gogoi sir, organizing chairman. I am thankful to Dr. Kalyan Mandal sir, organizing co-chairman. I am also thankful to convener Markanti Gaur sir for all for their organization of the program. I am also thankful to all presidents and councillor of respective zones. I am also thankful to my zonal president Dr. Gade sir. I thank you to all the participants for such wonderful response. Thank you to all for your valuable presence. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vasbule. So here, dear viewers, so we are having one more lecture from 11:30. I hope all of you people will be joining in the lecture also. So that lecture will be delivered by Dr. Dilip Kumar Ghosh.